Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Matty Beniers extension and getting on into that. Now before we get started with that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So Matty Beniers and the Seattle Kraken were able to get a deal done for about 7 years and about $50 million. And it is an interesting deal because Beniers was a guy that had a quiet and underwhelming season, and Seattle was kind of the same way, quiet and underwhelming, as they went from being a playoff team to being a team that was relatively far out of a playoff spot. So why exactly did they get this deal done when things didn't look great for either one at the end of the season? Well, I think the first thing is Beniers is a guy that has shown success in the NHL already, as he's a former Calder winner. This was not this season, but the season prior to that, and then the season prior to his Calder winning season was a short stint where things went well for him. He had like 9 points in 10 games. So you're seeing parts of 2 NHL seasons where things were good for him. He's 21 years old, and 2 out of the 3 years that you had him in the NHL lineup, you're feeling pretty good about how things went. Yes, this past season wasn't necessarily great, but again, the team went from 100 points to 81, so you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and we've already seen this guy that is an RFA, that is younger, see that success, so why wouldn't you want to try to get a deal going forward? Granted, 7 years does seem like a lot. The second reason is he is a player that is probably going to give you a little bit more than what you would see from certain NHL forwards. He's not going to necessarily be at the moment a Hart contender by any means, but he is a guy that's going to give you a lot of effort and could be a good two-way forward for you. This is somebody that's going to be good at zone exits. This is going to be somebody that's good at zone entries, and primarily looking at his zone exits, he's going to be somebody that tries to retrieve the puck and get it out of your end, which is good for a team like Seattle where they are struggling to score goals. They are going to create offensive opportunities by, of course, getting out of their end, but if they're stuck in their end, they aren't a team that can really play catch-up. So for a guy like Beniers that's going to give you that effort, it's kind of nice, and it is good to have a player that could help you, again, get things going the other way when things might not necessarily be going your way. But looking at him, of course, there's a lot of things you're hoping can be better. I think particularly 5-on-5 offense wasn't that great last year. Power play wasn't particularly great either. And he had, like 37 points in just over 70 games. So you're hoping that things can get jump-started a little bit. And I'm hoping that the Eberle, McCann, Beniers line can be better, because when you're looking at their analytics, things look pretty good for all three of them, but when they were out there together, the offense wasn't really clicking. And I think if Beniers can get a little bit better quality of chances, especially at 5-on-5, that's going to be big, as he's got a shooting percentage, I believe, above 10% for his career. So what he had last year was about 11%. If he and that line can get going, especially with Biosma a little bit, you're feeling good about what can happen here for Beniers. And again, a guy that contributes a little bit here, a little bit there, to have, again, a bounce back year would be nice and dandy. And then the final reason I think that they ended up signing him this extension is just the ability to kind of create a brand and focus in on something. You got to realize Seattle is the youngest NHL franchise, and this is a team that hasn't really seen a whole lot of success. Granted, the 2023 playoffs were kind to them, but overall, they're not like Vegas at the moment, and they don't have a ton of star power. However, they do have a guy in Beniers that is in his 3rd season with them, that is their first ever pick, 2nd overall, that is already won a award for them in the Calder, that is now signed with them through the rest of the decade. And this was important because you want to try to get fans to come in and have a reason, and he's going to be a reason to come in and watch. He is going to be a face for the team for long term and could be a pioneer for hockey in Seattle, especially in the early stages, and be viewed as one of those pillars for the beginning of the Seattle franchise. So while the timing of the deal does feel a little bit weird, it is still something that I think could look good for the Kraken, as if he is able to rebound offensively, you're going to see a good two-way player that's going to help Seattle try to get back to being competitive in the playoffs. They've got him, they've got the line that could be better, Dan Biosma, that's going to be jumping in as a new head coach. That's not really new, but is going to be singing his opportunities, trying to really just get things going for the side. They got a couple of free agency additions that were big, and I'm hoping that Beniers can be a guy that maybe gets to, again, 60, 70 points. I'm not really sure what I expect from him, but he did have 24 goals the year they didn't win the Calder. Just able to have a little bit more of an impact the offensive game and just try to help Seattle try to be more competitive. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the Matty Beniers extension? Do you think 7 years is good? Do you think the money's high? Do you think the money's low? Do you think it's fair? Let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.